This is about power. Pure and simple. Democrats want power. They want to be able to impose the policies they want when they want them. And they're afraid if the Supreme Court isn't packed full of Democrat nominees, the Supreme Court might rule against them. And so more and more Democrats are apparently perfectly willing to consider undermining, if not destroying, a fundamental part of our system of government to guarantee their political power. Mr. President, let's think about this in practical terms for a minute. Let's suppose that Democrats actually succeed in expanding the Supreme Court and adding more Democrat nominees. What do they think is going to happen next time there's a Republican president and a Republican Congress? Well, I can tell you. Republicans would make their own move to restore balance and add some more Republican Supreme Court nominees. And then I imagine when Democrats retook power, they'd do the same thing. In a decade or so, Mr. President, the Supreme Court could be expanded, I should say, to laughable proportions. Think about it. How many justices are we going to have? 15? 20? 30? There would be no end to this lunacy. Mr. President, in the words of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, only 2 years ago, and I quote, "9 seems to be a good number. It's been that way for a long time. I think it was a bad idea when President Franklin Roosevelt tried to pack the court," end quote. And that again, the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She said it was a bad idea, Mr. President. And fortunately for the country, when President Roosevelt proposed his court-packing plan, both Republicans and Democrats opposed it. Unfortunately, Democrats today seem to be more concerned with power than principle, or in some cases maybe lack the courage to stand up to the ferocity of the far left. In the past, President Biden has powerfully defended American institutions. But now he seems incapable of standing up to the far left. And so now we have an American president implicitly endorsing the idea of court packing by establishing a commission to study their proposal. Mr. President, Democrats like to talk about democracy and making sure that people have a voice. But it's becoming increasingly clear that they think their voices and the voices of liberal Americans are the only voices that should be heard. And if they can't win by convincing the public to elect strong Democrat majorities, they've made it increasingly clear that they're willing to undermine our institutions to ensure their grip on power. Don't like the makeup of the Supreme Court? Expand the court with new Democrat justices until you can be sure you get the results you want. Don't like Senate rules like the legislative filibuster that give the minority party a voice in legislation? Change the rules. Don't like your election prospects? Pass legislation like H.R. 1 or S1 designed to give your party a permanent advantage in electoral contests. Mr. President, I understand Democrats' passion for their political beliefs. I'm pretty passionate about advancing my political principles. But I believe we should be advancing our principles the democratic way by persuading people to vote for us, not by undermining our democratic institutions to give our party an advantage. I am deeply disappointed that President Biden found himself unable to stand up to pressure from the radical left. But I hope, Mr. President, I hope that at least some Democrats will find the courage to oppose these dangerous attempts to undermine our system of government. The Biden Court-Packing Commission is a solution in search of a problem and an attempt at a raw power grab by Democrats. It should quickly fade into the obscurity that it deserves. Mr. President, I yield the floor.